Perfect. Okay. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to have you in class today. The turnout for this class, I was really overwhelmed by how many people were interested in it. So thank you for joining us here live. If you are joining us on the replay, thank you just the same. The information and the value is going to be the same, whether you're here right now or you're watching, whenever it's comfortable for you. We will have a live Q&A at the end. So please, if you have questions, the best way to handle questions at this point would be to type them in the chat. We'll keep a log of all of the questions, and then I'll go through those and answer those on the back end. We're looking at about 90 minutes for the class. Sometimes we go over, but if you can kind of slot out 90 minutes of undivided attention, then that is going to serve you the best. So without further ado, let's just jump right in and get to training. I'm Rachel, the bridal stylist. And again, I'm just honored from the bottom of my heart that you're here to spend the day with me. So today's look is all about one of the most popular bridal styles that we are seeing this season. So this is a 2023 season. I forecast and guarantee almost that this updo will continue to make waves and show up during the 2024 season. It's gaining popularity quite quickly. So if you saw the photos, then you know that we are going all up today. So we're going to do 2 demos. And the reason we're going to do 2 is because one, I want to show you a quick run through of one way that you can create this style. So this is a full technique start to finish, but I'm going to skip the prep on our initial demo. Our second demo is going to be on a dark haired model. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I really want to be efficient in giving you the tools that you need, but also the understanding that every single style that you use is going to look different, whether you're doing it on a blonde or you're doing it on a brunette. Therefore, I want to give you the most that I possibly can in 90 minutes. And so therefore, I'm going to give you both. But we're going to skip the prep on the first one to cut down on timing. So just give me a second. I'm going to hit a couple buttons and we are going to dive right in. While I set up the rest of these millions of screens that are hanging out around me, I want to share with you really quickly. I'm just going to hit share my screen. I want to quickly share a gift that I have for you. Now, a lot of you, if you're following me on Instagram, then you have seen that I created it says my screen is paused. Is my screen paused? Give me a hands up if you guys can see me. I'm gonna move this sucker out of the way and we're gonna hit share on this and see it that way. Oops, that's not one.
Hey, Poopy here. How do you feel?
Okay, it says on my screen, I'm gonna hit click. I'm gonna click forward really quickly. And you guys let me know, can you see that move from that one to that one? Can you see that actually happening? Please let me know in the chat.
Están todos ellos listos para enviar y entonces estamos listos para.
Technology just kicks my tushy-wishy. Okay, I'm gonna mute everybody here. Okay, we're just not gonna open it up all the way. And I'm just going to share it this way so that you guys can see it. How weird that it is not letting me. Coming back to you really quickly. Okay, one more time. I'm gonna see if I can just open it up this way. I can open up this way. You know, someday technology will work in my favor. Okay, I think you guys can see. Thanks again for being patient with me. Okay, so if you, all I really wanted to say was before we get started, if you've noticed that the Bridal Stylist app is live. My goal and mission here and moving forward in my career is just to make sure that I equip bridal stylists with the skills and the techniques that they need to gain confidence moving into working within the bridal industry. The bridal bundle was created with that specific idea in mind. I wanted to make sure that you had all of those tiny little techniques that create those fundamental necessities to create almost any bridal style at all. Therefore, inside the bridal bundle, I want to offer it to you today for being here on class today for just $99. Okay, that's like what, $33 a class. So that's less than you paid for this class today. And it's just as in-depth. It has just as much value. So that is available for you today. You'll get the Glam Pony, the Midi Updo wearable waves, which are again, in addition to the style that we're going to be doing today, these are also 3 of the most popular bridal styles that we're seeing trending this season. And with that, I wanted to show you this real fast. Hopefully you can see this video. I just created this, which is the Midi. So it was kind of funny. So the gal with really dark hair and the brunette in this slide here, I just created these this weekend. And I was like, go figure that, you know, 2 of the styles that are in my bridal bundle are actually styles that I am creating out on location. So there is so much value inside here. I think a couple of you that are here today have already purchased the bundle. For the rest of you, if you are interested, again, I'm offering that to you today for just $99. Again, that's $33 each. Each of them about 60 minutes. They walk through the prep, break down the look step by step, and then also just show you how to use those foundational techniques. It introduces those foundational techniques so that you can actually apply those same techniques to any bridal style that you're creating. So this is available for you today. Use bundle 99 at checkout. The link will be inside the chat for you. You can sign up for that. Again, this is only a 24-hour special for $99. That's $33 for so much value, and really can be applied and builds confidence as you go into this wedding season. So I wanted to share that with you. Take advantage of that. Again, 24 hours. Use code bundle 99. So that's it. It's time to get started. I'm going to hit full screen on here. Thank you, Chantel. Chantel has purchased, and if you guys have any questions about the bundle, Chantel's in the chat right now, and she has purchased the bundle, and she says right now that it's worth every penny. So if you have questions about it or you want another testimonial, then, you know, shoot Chantel a message and ask her about that. Okay, so I'm going to go full screen so I can see myself. I won't be able to see the chat during this time, but my amazing assistant is inside the class right now. So if she can answer questions for you during the class, technical issues or anything about the bundle, she can do that for you. Otherwise, any questions that you have, type them in the chat and we will discuss them during the live Q&A at the end. Who's ready? I'm ready. I love styling hair. It's my absolute favorite thing to do. So let's go up. All right. So this chickie here is going to be our first model. Now, she shows up, bedhead, she's messy. No problem. We're not going to do a ton of prep on our first model here, and that's just because I want to show you 2 techniques, and for time saving, I want to just jump into this one quickly. So we're going up. If you saw the pictures in my story, if you haven't, then go over to my Instagram, Rachel.TheBridalStylist, and that brunette that you see inside there is the look that we are going to be creating. So we're going all up. And a lot of times the most challenging part of going all up is the fact that you have no idea where to start. I mean, that's how it is for me. I'm like, awesome, I have all of this hair and I know I'm going up and she wants her hair like on top of her head, but I have no idea where to start. And it's important to know exactly what to do because we only have 45 to an hour to create this look. So I'm going to show you this first step here. I'm going to do it very quickly because what I want you to take away from this portion of class is the fact that you can do this style much quicker than you thought you could. Then when we get to our second gal, we'll go through and break each step down and work a little bit slower. So I'm going to throw my belt on really quickly. Just so that I have my tools ready for me. Some of the looks that some of the products that you'll see me working with today is wax spray, surface wet hairspray, which we all know is Rachel's favorite. Sebastian Shaper, my favorite aerosol. I'll be using some smoothing cream. So we'll be using Ocistane Wild. And if need be, I'll be using some Schwarzkopf powder, volume powder, but I'm not sure that we're going to need too much volume powder for this look today. But if you are working with finer hair, that may be something that is necessary. So let's jump right in. The first thing we need to do is we need to section. How much hair are we going to actually leave out? And how much hair are we going to get? Okay, how much hair are we going to leave out? The first thing that I want you to do is just create a zigzag part and leave that hair out around the face. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side here. These are my detail pieces. I always talk about detail pieces, and the reason I do just kind of a messy zigzag part is just to get that hair up out of the way. So now we're going to start working this hair up, up, up. Now, she has a generous amount of hair. So you think about this when somebody comes to you and they say they want their hair up, it's really important to ask them, you know, hey, are you comfortable with your hair that high on your head? Do you get headaches? Because this is a lot of hair to put up really high. And I don't know about you, but I'm not very good at wearing my hair up high. I always wear it down. And so I like to ask people that beforehand so that they don't just say, I had never thought about that before. You know, I actually hate my hair up. It hurts my head. So just something to think about. Okay, so we have this hair. I just worked that hair with my brush. I worked that up. Now what I'm going to take is my handy 2 bobby pins and a rubber band. Okay, so I'm going to take that and I want to secure this entire section up high. So I'm going to slide that bobby pin in, and then I'm going to wrap all the way around, and I'm kind of holding that down with this hand. And then I'm going to continue wrapping that. And once I have like a really nice full rotation and a full secure, then I'm going to go ahead and let that down. And so I'm just going to keep rotating this through until I feel like that elastic's tight enough. And then I'm going to slide that bobby pin in right along the scalp. So that's nice and secure. So there we have it. Super high ponytail. Okay. And then these pieces are left out because they can be detail pieces coming around the side. Now, because she has a generous amount of hair, I don't necessarily want to add any padding. But if we were working with maybe long hair, but it was finer, then you would want to add some padding. And we'll actually demonstrate that in the second technique. Okay, so I'm just kind of pinching and pulling, giving some added texture. You see that there, just kind of some texture through there so that I have some visual interest. And same thing down here at the bottom. Just make sure that I have some visual interest. One thing when you're doing a really high pony is you don't want this to be saggy. So just pay attention to that. Make sure you have some really nice shape, but it's not too saggy right through here. Okay, I'm going to give that a once over. with my aerosol just to really lock in those bobby pins and hold them in place. And then I'm going to take my fork comb and just make sure that I don't have any nasty frizz that I don't want. Just a little bit. Okay. And then just from the back here, just lift that up. Make sure that you're happy with how that looks. Now we'll go in and refine this again at the end. But this way, whatever tangles you get, they land right here because all of this hair is going to cover that up. And so you'll be able to disguise and camouflage that. But down here, this will be visible. And so you want to make sure that this section here is really nice and clean. So I'm just going to I'm using my fork comb to smooth that. And I'm just going to use a little bit more aerosol spray just to lock that in. And I'm happy with that shape, design. Okay, I like that. And then you can also swing her around and check from the front. I know these are in the way here, but you want to check from the front and make sure that you are even on the right and the left side. Okay, you don't want one side poofier than the other. Okay, so now that that's mapped out and I like that look, then I'm thinking we're going to go right about there with this style. So she has a ton of hair. And what I want to do is I don't want to add in more padding in here because I have a ton of hair. So I want to utilize some of this hair so I'm not stuck trying to find a home for all of this hair. So I want to split this into 4 sections. You want them to be pretty even, but your 4th section can be a little bit smaller if need be, because this section here is actually the one that I'm going to wrap around and create some padding with. So I'm going to turn it this way first because I'm going to use this section right here. I'm just going to comb through this. She's a little frizzy today, but I'm also using this as padding, so it's okay that she's a little bit frizzy. So we're just going to twist this section, lift up your entire ponytail, and wrap this around the base. Now you want it to be as flat to the head as possible. What this is doing is this is taking the place of hair padding. So if you wanted to use hair padding, that's something that you can do as well. Now I'm just going to take closed bobby pins. These are 2-inch bobby pins and they're dark. Doesn't matter. Nobody's going to see them. And I'm going to secure this section all the way around. I have my ends right here and I'm just wrapping those in. I'm going to tuck them under just so they're out of the way. Okay, and so let me show you that. So here's what I did. I literally just wrapped that hair all the way around. See that? Cool. So what's the point of that? Well, it's going to expand my entire hairstyle versus it landing just right here underneath. This is going to help give me a little bit of lift and a little bit of expansion when this hair comes out. So kind of like a padding. Just going to add one more pin right here. This is an awesome way to hide some hair, disguise some hair, camouflage. You know, if you're just working with so much hair, this is a really awesome way to kind of distribute that hair so that you're not trying to find a home for all of it, because creating updos is like, it's like doing a puzzle. Everything has to fit into a specific place. And so this is a good way to kind of eliminate some of that stress if you have more hair than you actually need. All right, before we move on, I want to show you how to incorporate this section here. So we're going to talk to our client about how much hair does she actually want left down around her face. And so we're going to just kind of see what this naturally looks like with her face framing. This piece is a kind of long. I like these little ones here. All right, so let's keep those ones out, and then let's also keep just a little bit extra in case we want to swoop any of this hair. Now I'm going to show you a really quick trick for getting this hair up out of the way. First of all, she's a little bit dry, so I am going to open up some Redken wax spray, and I'm going to add this wax spray right across that entire section, and then just comb that product through. And this is going to give me just some really pretty shine. Now I'm directing the hair where I actually want it to land. So since I want it to land and swoop right about there, that's how much slack I want in that section. Then I'm going to take a small elastic, just really, really tiny one. And in order to secure all of this hair with the fewest amount of bobby pins, that's why I'm going to use this elastic. So I'm going to pinch off. And now, as you can see, I'm not letting go of this section in my hand while I'm wrapping this elastic around until I create one full foundation or one rotation. And then I can go ahead and let that go. Okay, so now that I have that secured, now I can use one bobby pin to section and secure this entire area. And that's awesome because you don't want to put more bobby pins in than you have to. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm holding tightly with that elastic, and then I'm pinching and pulling to create the shape that I desire right there on the side. And now that section is really shiny, it's clean. All right, and so then I'm going to take a bobby pin and I'm just going to hook it through underneath the elastic. So not on top, because then it could slide out. So underneath, I'm going to keep it closed, and I'm going to wrap that. I'm going to slide that right in. And now that whole section is secured, and I like this design. Now, once it's secured, if you need to pinch and pull that anymore, or if you need to take your wet hairspray and add some texture, you can do that with wet hairspray and your fork comb. That's really going to combat that frizz. Okay, and then I'm just pinching out to give it just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. You can see how shiny and pretty that is. All right, so let's go ahead and do that exact same technique to the other side. I'm just going to go ahead and go on. Let's just wrap her around. Let's go on this side. So first things first is we need to decide how much hair we want to leave out. And you also want it to be similar to how much you left out on this other side. In case you use any of this to create added detail on this side, you want it to look the same. So keep that in mind when you're picking how much hair you're going to leave out. Just be kind of conscientious of like, okay, those look even. Cool. Okay, so first things first is my spray wax. One thing I will add that's really important to make note of is that I don't use spray wax on every style. I actually don't use it very often unless I'm working with coarse or medium hair, but the hair has to be pretty coarse because wax hairspray will weigh down your style. So keep that in mind when you're picking products to use. Wax hairspray is a great product for shine, but it also is heavy. And so if you apply that to fine hair, you're going to weigh down that hair, and then you're going to be really disappointed because you're not going to be able to create the shape and volume that you desire. So, you know, leave the wax hairspray for your coarse ladies, and an alternative product to use for fine ladies. If you're looking for shine and texture, then I would focus more on like a really light smoothing cream. Seems to work okay for me because I have control over how much I can apply to the hair. And I just personally tend to like smoothing cream better than wax spray for fine hair. So experiment with it, try it out, and really see what works for you, because, you know, what works for me is just a suggestion. It's like I'm giving you the recipe, and then try it out, see what you like, see what you don't like. Everybody is different. Every artist is different. And so, you know, take little bits of what I teach you, take little bits of what other instructors teach you, and then really make all bridal creations your own. Okay, so I have that swoop down, like it a lot. I'm going to take that 2-inch closed bobby pin. I'm going to go underneath that rubber band, and then I'm going to slide that right in just like that. And now I have an extra piece, an extra section to kind of mess with to create my overall design. All right, so now all of our hair is secured. These are our last bits, and we're not even going to worry about them right now. We're just going to move on and create this style here. So because we have some added frizz, I'm going to add a lot of moisture into this. So I'm going to start with some wax spray because I just want some shine and I really want to tame some of this dryness. I'm going to take a wide tooth comb this time, starting at the bottom and just comb through this. Be really careful that you don't pull too hard, that you pull your ponytail out. If it's really, really tangled, then don't be afraid to hold that in place so that you have added security. Now, all of this hair that I have left over, now this is all going to be detail hair. So I'm going to probably use 3 sections to create this style. I may use 4, so don't totally quote me. So let's just start with our first section. I'm going to take a good amount of hair and we're going to actually start designing our updo. Now everything is up already. So now it's just a matter of creating appropriate shape and design. I'm going to take wax spray individually on this strand here. I talk a lot about products just because I really want you to understand how to use products to help your bridal styling and look better. I'll get to my next section, or even maybe with my next gal, I'll show you how to do this technique and this updo with smoothing cream instead of wax spray. All right, so I'm just combing that product through and really smoothing out this section because I just want it to be really pretty. Obviously, you don't want it to be ugly. Now, we're going to take this section, hold it at almost 90 degrees coming out from this ponytail and twist. I want you to twist a couple rotations to the point where you can start seeing that roll this direction. We're going to take this, and here's the biggest technique. Easiest, but the most important. When you start twisting this, you don't want to just pull this way because then you lose all of this area here. Let me show you from the front just so you can see it. Okay, so if I was to just take this section, let's get you even. Take this section and then just pull here. Look, I have this whole gap right here, and we want to utilize this hair everywhere. So what you're going to do is either your finger or the point of your rat tail comb. When you start twisting this is why I have so much slack. You can see that detail already creating itself, right? It's beautiful already. So what you're going to do is you're going to take either your finger or the comb, see it over here, and you're going to hold that right there and then wrap. So I'm going to take my thumb on the back. I'm going to show you this again, but I'm going to turn around so you can see the back of it, okay? Okay, so you can see the back of it, right? Okay, so here's that twist. Twisted, right? I'll do it with my finger. I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to push this down against the head and then wrap this across. One more time. Okay, I'm going to twist. And then I want to take that twist because I like it and make sure that it's wrapped right there. And then I'm going to wrap that across the top. Now, before I move on, hold on, my twist is messed up. Okay, I'm going to take that twist and then I'm going to wrap it just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to really, it just popped right up. Did you see that? Okay, so then I'm going to take just a closed bobby pin and secure that section. So I had a pinched here, wrapped across, and then secured that right there. Now I'm going to take this and then I'm going to continue wrapping this across the top, working with this twist and pulling out as need be. And then taking a closed bobby pin and pushing into your section and then down and running that right along the scalp. You want it to be right there along the scalp. That's really, really important so that you don't have floating pins. And then I'm just pinching and pulling as need be. So I'm going to continue this, and then I'm going to wrap this right over here to this side. And I'm just using a closed bobby pin to secure these ends on this side here. So you can see I'm just securing them just like that. Now I'm just going to pinch a little bit to give myself as much volume as I can in this section. Okay, looks a little crazy. I know, don't worry. Sometimes you just got to roll with the mess because bridal styles come together in the last 5 minutes. Right, so now I'm going to take my next section and I'm going to start on the left side this time. I'm going to smooth this out. Add some wax spray. Okay. I'm going to wrap towards the face. Just grab some bobby pins quickly. I'm going to wrap towards the face and I'm going to lay it right across this one. But see, now they're going to be going in opposite directions. So I'm going to push my finger down here so that it lands on the side over here.
Sorry, I don't understand.
And then pull this right across the other way. Now pin this in and get it right along the scalp there so that it's nice and secure so that it closes that gap. Okay, closed bobby pins all the time. So you can see the top of her, okay? And then I'm going to bring this one over this side. So this side started here. So this is my first section. I just wanted to make sure that you can see that I'm actually coming on top of that one. And that's okay.
I'm not sure I understand.
I guess we can't go on Siri to learn how to do bridal hair. She doesn't know what I'm talking about. Make sure she doesn't hear me. Okay, so now we have 2 sections. So let's look from the front and you can see that that shape is starting to create and we're getting that height. And then we'll work through these and this is going to be all of our detail. And then if we need to lower things or we need to give a little bit more volume, then we will. What you can see is that's just really starting to come together and that's only 2 sections. So it really can be done, especially if you're not talking through it, it really can be done quite quickly. Okay, so I'm going to sit there. Now, so I'm going to take this last section and this is my last big section. And then I have these little sections here, but I kind of like the idea of having little sections out because then that's going to give us those, you know, cute little PCs, tendril PCs that are going to like, you know, fly around in this updo. I'm not sure if that was a technical term, but that's what you guys, that's how you guys can refer to it from now on. All right, so let's take this section here. And now this one rotated this way, so this one is going to rotate that way. Every single one of your sections, you want them to actually twist the opposite direction. So this one is going to twist towards the face. This is important because when you wrap these around, you want to create added texture. And so therefore you don't want each of them rolling the same direction because then they kind of blend together versus looking contrasted and creating more movement and visual interest. Okay, so I'm taking this piece and then I'm going to twist it and I'm going to wrap it down. Okay, I'm going to pull down with it first, pinch, pull down. And the reason I'm doing that is because if I wrap it here, then it just goes straight that way and then I miss all of this section. So I'm going to pull down with it here to the bottom of my, I'm going to hold it with my thumb to the bottom of where I want that updo. Closed bobby pin right along the scalp. Now continue moving that section and mess with it with your fingers first and then place it and hold it with a bobby pin. Then you have more control of being able to kind of move it around if you don't like where it landed. Okay, so I want to fill in this section right here, but I don't want to lose my texture. So I'm just going to retwist that really quickly. And continue pinning that as you bring that section over. And then I'm securing this over, as you guys can't see that, I'm securing this over on that side right there. Now I have this piece right here. This is where I am going to add in. So we're going to work with these final pieces now. Okay, so we're going to take this. I'm using some smoothing lotion to really smooth these ends. I'm going to take these and I'm just going to wrap this right back up that direction. All right, so this is my end from that very first piece. I'm going to continue twisting it the same way, but I'm going to wrap that right back up through there because that's going to give me a little bit more design and fill kind of this section here between these two. And then I'm going to tuck those ends right underneath because I don't necessarily need them. I'll take this section, a little bit of this section here and that section, and then tuck that in. Okay, check your proportions. You know, it's getting a little bit wide, so just smash it back together. All right, now we have this section in the back here that we need to work with. This is a little bit big, but don't worry, we'll kind of tighten this up a little bit because it does look a little bit wide here and we don't want this to be too wide. You know, you want your section, you want your entire updo to kind of be placed right there at the crown of the head. And so, you know, we can alter and manipulate shape as we continue to create this. Another thing that I always remind anybody that I'm working with in terms of bridal styling is that always remember that a creation truly comes together in the last few minutes. And those last few minutes should really be spent tweaking, looking at shape, balance, making sure that everything is secure and that you're happy with the overall aesthetic and design that you've created. All right, so if you get to the point where like, this looks a mess, I'm not sure that this is working the way I want it to, don't worry, just keep moving along. Don't give up, because even at this stage in my career, I still mess up all the time, you guys. It's no big deal. I mean, it's art, it's subjective, right? So because it's art, everybody's take is going to be a little bit different on it. And the cool thing about it is that as long as you're open and you communicate with your bride about what she's looking for, you guys have the opportunity to create a beautiful creation together. And that, to me, that really is the fun part of all of this. So that was my biggest piece of advice in terms of just working through the madness. I'm going to take a blonde one here just because this is a thinner section. And I just want to really make sure that that pin is disguised in there. And so I hope you can see that everything is just really starting to come together slowly but surely. Okay, I'm really liking the shape. Let's check out the shape from the front so you can see it's really coming together. Are we liking that so far? It looks really nice. So we just have a little bit more hair left to kind of mess with and play with. And so let's just rework the rest of this hair and make sure that we like where it's going. So I have this last section here. So I'm just going to twist this one. Okay, and I'm going to work this one right across the top here. And I might even, so I like that right there. It gives me a little bit more. See, I don't like how heavy these are here. It's not flowy enough. It's almost like too much texture. And so we're going to tuck that right in there. And you can see the difference in that texture. You know, this is like big and loopy right here. And this is softer and more modern. All right, so that's what we're going to do with that section. I'm going to take those ends. And before I do anything, I'm going to hook those in so that it stays, so that as I pull it that direction, I know where it's landing. And then as I go, I'm just going to put in bobby pins as I travel this direction. I'm really liking where that's landing. Okay, and then I kind of tucked that in so you can see it lands right there. And then we can use this and see how that worked out. Not saying that it always works out that way, but did you see how everything just came together to the point where all we have left over is this? And watch this. We'll put some lotion on this. We'll tuck this and look at that awesome curl right there that we get. Okay, so let's spray that guy really fast because she's a little frizzy. Okay, so I just sprayed it with some wax spray. So as I'm finishing up this section, any questions that you have, I would love for you to type some of them in the chat right now. Type them in so that we can really start thinking about what we want to talk about in that last 20 minutes that we have today. I don't know about you, but it always amazes me. Like, did you see how that all just came together? Like, I just want to be completely transparent with you and honest, since we're in this environment together. Sometimes I don't know that it's all going to come together. Sometimes I am just hoping like, okay, I know the foundational techniques. I know how to do this. I know what comes next. I know how to make it last 10 hours, but there is still sometimes inside me that I say, it's not working. Like, wait, how do I make sure that it works? I'm going to take some wet hairspray and start working with some frizz here. Combating frizz. I'm going to use my fork comb at this point because I like the metal. And then be sure that as you're kind of working out this frizz, that you're working with your twist. Don't go in the opposite direction of your twist. So pay attention to which way you hooked that hair up there. If you go against it, you'll create more frizz, and that's obviously not what we want. But anyway, back to like just being honest and transparent. Sometimes I do get lost. Sometimes I get frustrated. Sometimes I don't think that it's pretty. Sometimes I'm not happy with it. And then there's other times where I just keep working. I just keep working. And somehow it just comes together in the end. And, that's when I realized that I didn't just get lucky. It's these foundational techniques that I've learned and practiced over and over and over again that really have created the muscle memory in my hands, and even visually to be able to see like, oh, okay, that's how it is supposed to look. So I don't know about you, but I think that's lovely. Let's just finish up these little pieces in the front here. Just give them a little bit of a swoop. Sorry, she is on another level today. You know what? Actually, let's just fluff these, and then I want to get started on the other style. So I'm just going to take this hair here. I'm going to give it a nice little back comb here. And then I'm just going to fluff these. And I'm actually just going to leave these down right now. And if we have any questions about her, we can talk about that. So just going to give her a little bit of a fluff there. Okay, back comb there, comb it out with your fork comb. I talk a lot about like face framing pieces inside the bundles also, because it's really important to make sure that from the front, your client, your bride likes it. You know, it's cool if it's pretty from the back, everybody else gets to see it, but the front is really important. So, and you know, I think sometimes some of the hardest parts is connecting the front to the back and making sure that they work hand in hand with one another. You want them to be harmonious, balanced. Okay. And so I just gave her a little bit of a fluff there. And I mean, she's rocking this cute little outfit, right? She's got her 80s jacket on. Okay. And then I just want to give you a little bit of a spin there. So what do we think? Let me know in the comments. How was that? Overwhelming? Like it? What questions do you have? I think she's gorgeous. Okay. Perfect. All right. So she is done. This was one technique. Now go back. You will have this recording. Watch it as many times as you want, because again, this is just one technique. I'm actually going to show you a whole different technique in our second demo. Okay. So let me just get switched around real quickly and we'll get started. You guys can probably hear me as I'm like running around my room. Look who's here. Isn't she lovely? Okay. This is my brunette. Did you like that? Okay, let's try that again. Ready? For number 2. Okay, let's go. Do you see that? That's Remy. He's hanging out with me today. Okay, so this is my brunette gal. I love her. I love the texture of her hair. She's fantastic. This is freshly washed. Is this not a great doll head to work with? But the reason why I saved this one for second was because she has a different texture. And so I wanted to be able to show you how to quickly prep this hair, smooth it out, and still complete this updo in 30 to 45 minutes. All right. So let's jump right in really quickly. I'm just going to give her a really nice brush through. First, let's talk about texture. So I would say she's fine to medium, where our other gal was definitely medium to coarse. So fine to medium, what type of products do we need to use when working fine to medium hair? You don't want to use anything that's too heavy that's going to actually weigh down the hair. We actually want a little bit more movement through the hair versus weighing it down and having it be tacky. Therefore, if for any reason she feels like she's going to get frizzy, then you want to grab something like a smoothing cream or a wet hairspray and try to avoid wax sprays. That's just my personal opinion. So first things first is we need to give her a quick little blowout. So I'm going to mute myself just so that it's not too loud. And I'm just going to smooth this out really, really quickly. I'm going to add a little bit of sea salt spray to the hair. So you'll see me do that. But again, I just don't want it to be too loud. So I'll meet you right back in just 1 second. Okay, perfect. So now she's just blown out just quickly. And I just want you to really pay attention. Look at that. Tell me that is not incredible. We're talking, I mean, what, a couple minutes? And so, and look at that volume. I changed the direction of that hairline. And now I have a lot more control over what I want the front of this look, the front of this style to look like. So see that, look at how smooth that is. Now, I didn't waste my time doing any of this, because I'm actually going to use this to my advantage. But look at the difference. A little bit of sea salt spray and a few minutes of a blowout, and look at the difference. The shine in this is just incredible. So when you hear me constantly harping on like, just grab the blow dryer, use it for 5 minutes. Prep is so important. It really does make a difference. And I hope that you can see that clearly right now, the difference in that. So you'll hear me talk about prep a lot. So now that I know exactly where I want this part to be, I'm going to have it land right there in the center. And then I'm going to leave out some pieces just right through there. She has some really pretty good face framing right there. So we're going to leave those out. Okay, so let's jump right into sectioning. That's all the prep that I'm going to do with her. A lot of times you will see me talk about my prep work being, my micro crimping and, maybe even blowing out the whole head. For a style like this, you don't have to do that. So when I say prep, remember that prep is dependent on the style that you're actually creating. And we don't need any micro crimping for this gal. So for the style that we're creating. All right, so I'm going to section this lady slightly different. Let me turn this iron off so I don't burn anything. Okay, so we're going to section her a little bit different this time. First things first is we are just going to go down and release that front section. I always like to release that front section because it's the front of the hair. So zigzag part down to the front of the hair. It doesn't have to be a ton of hair, just enough that I have those pieces to fix anything that needs to be fixed when I get all of this hair up. All right, so my very first section that I'm going to create this time is going to be this top section here. So I'm going to take this section. Let me show you where I'm at in terms of the ear. Okay, so there's my ear right there. Let's see if I can clip this out of the way, just so you can kind of get an idea of where I'm at in terms of sectioning. All right, so this is my ear. So not a lot of hair is sectioned there. Now I'm going to take this very top crown section, and this is the section that you see that sits right behind that bun. All right, so we're going to lift this section up. Making sure that I have all that hair on the other side. What we're going to do here is we're going to create 4 ponytails. The first ponytail is almost like ear to ear. Okay. So we're going to take this. We're going to grab a clear elastic. I'm going to go ahead and double this up. Better safe than sorry. Okay. And we're going to clip this, hook this through. Okay. Just like that. Give it a little tug, and then go ahead before you move on and pinch and pull any design. Okay, any texture that you want, just go ahead and pinch and pull. Now take that section and move it out of the way. So first section. Okay. Our second section, down the middle, just before the nape. Let's use a little bit of wet hairspray to start giving me some control, because she's freshly washed, she's also super slippery. Okay, so now I'm going to take my elastic again. And bring that all the way up to the top. Meaning all the way to the top of my section. And that elastic just broke. So there you have it. They break all the time. Okay, so let's try this again. So I'm going to take that section. Okay. And lock that in. All right. And I'm going to leave it a little bit loose. I'm okay with that right now. All right. And then I'm going to hook that one up there. I'm going to do the same thing here. Fourth section. A little bit of wet hairspray. Make sure that you're directing all of the hair that way. Let's see my clear bobby pin. I mean my clear elastic. Okay, double up your elastic again. Okay, so over direct all of that hair up to the top there. Now, a lot of times you'll see when I'm like securing ponytails and stuff, I'll use that rubber band bobby pin trick. The reason why I'm not doing that with this is because I don't want all of those extra bobby pins along her scalp. Okay, so just redirect that hair if you don't like it. All right, that's good. Hook that one up. And then as you can imagine, our very last section here. Okay, so one at the top, two in the middle, one at the bottom. Do that, then I'm going to add a little bit of wet hairspray. I like the wet hairspray because I just get a little bit more hold with it, but I also can really smooth down those baby hairs. And that's what I really like about that wet hairspray. And I'm going to grab two more elastics. I'm over directing this hair. And then hooking that elastic right in between those two. All right, once these are up, it'll be easier to see, okay? So you can see now I have three, okay? And I also want you to pay attention to the fact that look at where this is actually hooked. It's not hooked tight right there because my updo is gonna go all the way up here. So I want this hair to be all the way up there. So now let's take a bobby pin because we don't want this to fall. And let's just hook that right in the center. I'm going to take two because I'm going to hook one into that side and one into that side. And now that's going to hold just right there for me, just for now. Okay. Now we're going to release these and I'm going to put this here for added security so that that one doesn't fall. And so now you can see I have four rubber bands and all of my hair is up. And you can also see where I have this placed. I have it placed right where I want my entire updo to be. Got it? Now this style is really great for anybody who has a little bit thinner hair. Maybe they have a ton of hair, but it's fine, or they have length and it's fine. So I'm going to use some padding. All right, so I'm just going to unroll this one here and we're going to use blonde. You're not going to be able to see it. I was looking to see where my brown one was, but it just floated away. So anyway, so I'm going to unroll my donut and then I'm just going to wrap this up into a square, just like that. Okay, and that's going to be my padding. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up these four sections that I have here. Let me turn her, and then I'm also going to lay her back so that you can see exactly what I'm doing, okay? So I have these four sections here, and I'm going to put this right smack in the middle of those four sections. take a closed bobby pin and take a little bit of your padding and then a little bit of the hair and hook that in. And I like to hook it into all four sections or all four corners. Okay. So I'm just taking a little bit of that padding. And then again, be sure that your bobby pins are running right along the scalp so that they're not floating. If you feel like you need an added one right in here, just add one. Just make sure that it's super secure. This is really going to help us with shape. It's also going to help us with putting those bobby pins from these sections, putting them in place and having them hold better because they're going to hold so much tighter being hooked into. I am adding two more, one at the bottom, one at the top, but this is going to help holding when we hook those bobby pins in, they're going to have somewhere to land. And so they're going to hold and be much more sturdy. All right. So I agree. So, you know, she looks crazy right now, right? Like if somebody was looking at her in the mirror, they would be like, I have no idea what this bridal stylist is doing to me. Does she even know how to do hair? Yes, because it's all about mapping. We just mapped out our entire section, or we just mapped out our entire look. And so now we're going to go in and create it. So this time, instead of starting with the front, I'm going to start with the side. So I'm going to take this section and be sure that that's nice and secure. And I like that. I'm going to take I'm going to be using Schwarzkopf Tame Wilds. Right, rub that through your hands and then rub that through the entire section. And we're going to almost mimic what we did last time. So we're going to twist, hold down right here. Hang on, I dropped it. All right, we're going to twist, hold down right here and cross it over. This time we're going to do tighter sections though, just like this. All right, so I'm going to wrap my hand across it like this. Let me turn it. Okay, right here. All right, twist. We're going to hold this down and then we're going to wrap this across. I just have to do it one more time because I lost my hand placement. Okay, so twist, hold that down, and then wrap across that padding. Now I'm going to come across with my thumb to hold that in place. And then I'm going to hook this bobby pin down here so that it holds that section. I'm going to add another one. The one thing about Tame Wild is the fact that it does get slippery in your hands. And so that does prove a little bit challenging when it's too slippery. So my hands are a little bit slippery right now, just so you know. Okay, and then I'm going to add in just a couple pins, keeping them closed, just right across this section, pushing it right into that padding. And then I'm going to bring it across, continuing to twist and bring it over in between these two here and wrap and secure again. Now, before I move on, I don't want to leave this piece out. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue wrapping, twisting, and bring it right back the opposite way. And that way I just don't have to deal with that on the other side. Okay, so I'm just going to pin that in there and then we can just tuck that. Okay, and then I just tucked that right under there. Perfect. All right, so now let's take this section here. This one feels a little bit thicker than the other side, but that's okay because we don't want them so symmetrical that they look exactly the same. You know, you do want them to look a little bit different. Okay, so we're going to wrap towards the face. We're going to wrap towards the face, bring it down, and then cross over. Now I'm going to hold this because I want to secure this down here first before I let go. Okay, so that's held in place now. And then I'm going to wrap this and I'm going to lay it right in between that gap right there. All right, continue twisting. Now close pins through your twist right into that padding. You can see how like important that padding is now. Okay, so you can see those two twists. Now I'm going to take this section and just bring it right here. And just take that twist and tuck it right underneath that there. Okay, now I have two sections done. Cool. Okay. And I'm going to take my bottom section where these two pins were that fell out. It's okay. Now that we have that padding in there, we'll just go ahead and hook that pin right into that padding. And that's going to help secure that entire section. So we have that whole up section there that's up. All right, let's take our bottom section. Get a little bit more cream. Okay, twist that. I'm going to go towards the face. And then I'm going to wrap that, but I'm going to pull down first. Hold that with my thumb because I don't want to let go of it. I'm going to take that so that I can get that loop right there. And then before I move on, I'm going to stretch that out because I like how that is looking. And then I'm going to bring this one down this way. And that fills in that entire space. And then go straight into that padding again. Don't forget, make sure that those pins are hitting the padding. And then I'm going to hit this corner right here and insert right there. And then that will probably just tuck right under there so that you don't see it. So tell me in the chat, how is it watching with a brunette versus watching with the blonde? I would love to hear that just for my own understanding. I'm going to take some wet hairspray and just doing all over. You want to be sure to clean as you go. Be sure to take pictures of these after class. And if you would like them, then shoot me a DM so that I can send them over to you so that as you rewatch this, you can kind of like, you know, look back at what we did. All right, so now if you can see that, let me show you this side too, okay? Look at that. Isn't that awesome how it's like already coming together? Two totally different techniques. This one is a little bit sleeker, a little bit cleaner, but I'm going to show you once we get all of this hair up, how to pinch and pull this out to make it as fluffy as you want, you know? Okay, so now we need to deal with the front, but we still have all this hair, which isn't that amazing? And we didn't have to prep or blow dry any of this. So sometimes like a high updo is actually a benefit to you. So don't ever be like, oh, I don't want to do it. Once you know how to use the hair and know the right techniques that will serve you, then I promise you're going to be so excited when somebody's like, I'm just going to wear my hair all up. You're like, oh yeah, I don't have to curl the whole head. This is amazing. This is just an added end or an extra end, leftover end. And because I haven't done this front piece, I'm going to just tuck this. I'm just going to keep working this strand right here. And I'm going to work that just up through there so that I still get some of that texture. But I don't want that strand. So I'm just going to get it out of the way before I move on. Since I can. Sometimes you can't and you have to tuck it underneath, but since I can tuck it inside just like that, I'm just going to go ahead and take advantage of that open space and do that. All right. So let's do our last piece. I do need some cream here. I'm going to turn my curling iron on while we finish up this last section so that we can really mess with these pieces here. Now this section is pretty large, but that's okay because it's our front piece. So we have a couple options here. You know, the cool thing is like once you have this technique, then you can decide, do I want to split this into two? And do I want to create two sections? Do I want to just create one? Do I want to do, you know, a rope braid? Just what kind of overall aesthetic do they want? And so you have, I mean, you have so many options, which is cool to know that we have options once we, you know, have created something gorgeous. Okay, so I'm going to twist this one. And this time I'm going to twist to where, I want to put this fade. I'm going to twist to where this comes down forward here. Okay, so I'm twisting. And then before I do anything, I'm going to bring this down here and then wrap this across. I'm actually going to twist this the other way. Please excuse me. Okay, so we're going to twist this way. I'm going to bring this down here and fill in that spot right there. And that's going to work better for me. Okay, so we're going to twist this section. We're going to bring this down. Okay, because I like that right there. I'll show you in a second. That is, oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. These are like those little butterflies that I get when I'm like, it came together. See if I can hold that right there so I can show you guys like what I'm seeing. Okay, see that? So that's what happened when I made that twist right there. Look at how gorgeous that is. Okay, so then I'm going to pinch that, put a pin in there so that I don't lose that shape as I continue working this hair through the front. All right, so I'm working that hair. I'm going to give it a little bit of spray because I'm totally digging that and I don't want to lose any of it. So, okay, I'm going to hook that in there. Okay. All right, twist, twist, twist. And I still have all of this hair. So that's rad. So I'm going to do it again. Hold down there and then twist right through there. Now, if you have caught on, every single section has been created the exact same way. Every single one. Twist, hold, wrap. Now we'll take this. We'll wrap this through. And then let's do something really sneaky real fast here. Let's just take Popsy tail. I don't want this past like right here probably. So I'm going to take this down, pull through all the way through. Make sure you're paying attention to where it's coming out all the way through. I want it to come out down here because I don't want it. Okay, so I'm going to pull that through. Bam. And now that goes right into there. Okay. And then just hook that pin in and tuck those ends. Perfect. Check that out. Isn't that amazing? So cool, huh? Okay, so really quickly, because I want to keep us at 90 minutes, and I know I started just a smidge late today. Let's get this finished up, because this is also really cool. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of curl to this. Now, I don't want a ton, so I'm really just going to do a really quick curl here. I'm using just a 1-inch barrel right now. You can see I'm just getting a little bit of a kink in there, and I'll show you why in a second. This is all beautiful and sleek and gorgeous, but one thing that we do want is to make sure that if they want it a little bit softer and they want some of those pieces hanging out, that we provide them. So I want to do that for her. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap this. I put some curl in there. I don't need anything too crazy. So this is the time to ask any questions, any product questions, any styling questions. If you're ever looking for business stuff, I also have a business course. I think that we are going to be running our business course again live in September. So it's something to keep an eye out for if you're looking to build your own bridal business and you're like, okay, cool, I got the techniques, but I don't know how to attract clients. I don't know how to get them to pay me. I don't know how to protect myself from liability. That's what this course is all about. Okay, so we have this hair down. I just left just enough. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna split these sections off. We're gonna use our topsy tail, and we're literally gonna work this hair through this updo and bring it out. Bring it out the other side. Okay, and then pinch and pull to create a little bit more texture and softness. I'm going to do the same thing with this one here. I'm going to take this. And you know how you get like those, what you see, you know, like on Instagram or you see in bridal photos, those really cool drapey pieces. You're like, how did they get those pieces? This is an awesome way to do that. Hold on real fast. I need a longer topsy tail because I can't see it. Okay, so this one's more on brand anyways. Okay, so let's wrap that through. And then what we're going to do is we're going to push all the way through the entire updo and pull out the other side. And then because you don't want this gap here, you just pinch that out. Isn't that cool? And then if you wanted to add one more, or you wanted it to be, you know, like up here in the front, so that it's coming back through the front, then you can do that too. And see how we got like that draping? Isn't that so cool? All right. And now this, you know, this is a little long. We're like, whoa, Rach, we don't need it that long. I lost a piece there. Okay, put that back in place. You know, if this is a little bit long, it's okay. You can just work these pieces through. We can hide some of them. One thing that we can do is you can take this piece here and you can wrap it up through here, create another loop with it. Use this smaller one. Pull that through. And you can use bobby pins to hide this if you want to hide this up further. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this and then I'm just going to hide this up through here. And you can see it created more visual interest, but it also made these pieces a little bit shorter. So you can work those hairs through. A little flyaway one there. At this point, this is where your creativity takes over. And you just have the ability to make art. So be creative. Don't be afraid to take chances. You know, the most important thing is that your client and you are on the same page. But another element of that is that you're constantly practicing so that if and when they ask for something different, you are able to provide that for them. So this can be fluffed and pinched and pulled really nicely. Let's get this out of the way. So give it a little bit of volume. Fluff that. Spray the outside of it. It's just really neat. I just think, I don't know, I hope you guys can like hear it in my voice, or you can see it in how I show up in the bridal world. I truly, truly love being able to be a part of somebody's special day, but also I just really love creating something magical. And it's not every day that you get that opportunity, you know, to do that for somebody. Our industry is really, really special. And I just love sharing that with you, and I hope that you enjoy it. So I'm just going to do a once over here on this. And then I will do just some final tweaks on her. I'll get some pictures out for you and then make sure that you have this. But let's just kind of take a spin. Now I didn't finish up this side here just for timing wise, but if we ever ran into a bind for timing wise, let me show you really quickly what you could do. So one thing, if you leave out too much hair, not a big deal. It happens. I'd rather you leave out too much hair than not enough hair. So pull that hair back. If you don't have time to swoop all of these through for any reason, or she decides she doesn't want them swooped, you know, like individually swooped. Here's what you do. You pull it together, work that hair a little bit. We're still going to put it through our topsy tail. We're going to insert that guy right in. Go to the other side, be sure that you can pull it out, but instead we're going to pull it halfway through. It's a tight section, hang on. Okay, we're going to pull it halfway through, maybe. Okay, I got it. Perfect. I think it's stuck on a bobby pin. So if that happens, then just work that hair through. I'm pulling it out individually real fast instead of on my thing. So it's came all the way through. Okay, and then just tuck that entire strand underneath. And I just hid that right underneath. And there you go. You know, so if you ever run into a problem and you're like, uh-oh, I left too much hair out, I don't know what to do, use that topsy tail, just play with it. All right, and let's just take her for a little spin so you can see. And there you have it. Another style. So let me show you something really fast. Let me grab my babe. She's going to come in naked, okay? What I want to show you is the difference between blonde and brunette. And I wish, being a black-haired girl, I wish I could say that we will always be able to see this kind of design and dimension, but we might not be able to. You know, it just might not be in the cards for our dark-haired girls. So because of that, it's really important to make sure that you're putting a ton of texture into your brunette. But a ton of texture doesn't mean going through and adding way too many loops. It just means making sure that visually you can see all of this texture. You can see this through here, you can see these twists. And so to do that, you want to just make sure that you're using a wet hairspray so that that shine is really showing up, making sure that you're using your smoothing cream and using bobby pins as well to create extra lines of texture. Lines of texture are good. They're modern. Loops of texture are not. That's not what we're looking for. And that kind of ages something a little bit. And so you want to keep that in mind. All right. So I am so excited to take some questions now. So let's get her out of the way and let's chit chat really fast. We'll switch out our blonde and give her some attention for a moment. And then if we have questions about our brunette, we can do that as well. Okay. All right. So let's just leave her here. I'm going to quit my screen and open this up for you guys to chat. Okay. So I'm going to go down to the bottom. I'm going to start from the bottom and go up because that is easiest for me. Okay, so questions. What products do you prep hair with after washing prior to blow drying? Great question. Two answers for this. The first thing would be the fact that after I am washing, or excuse me, when my bridesmaids or my bride are showing up to the location for me to do their hair on their wedding day, I ask for them to be washed and dried 100%. With that being said, I'm okay with a leave-in conditioner. Otherwise, I really prefer a sea salt spray or any type of volumizing mousse at the crown, and then just have them blast it dry. I don't really prefer like a round brush. I really just like it blast dried, kind of like our brunette was today. And she was just like this crazy frizzy mess. I kind of prefer it that way because then I can go in with sea salt spray and I can rework that hair and then reshape the hairline the way I want so that aesthetically it matches the style that we're creating. So I hope that helps. How do you ensure the 2 pins around the elastic stay secure? So I'm guessing, let me just take a quick swig. Okay, so excuse me, I apologize. I'm assuming that you're talking about this little technique here with my rubber band and my 2 bobby pins. So when this first one goes in, it's laying, excuse me, hold on. It went down the wrong pipe. When this one goes in, it is laying right along the scalp, and then it's wrapping, and then the other one is also laying right along the scalp. And so if they are in opposite, if they're going in opposite directions, and sometimes I try to cross them over, if not, once you wrap, and as long as this is laying right against the scalp, then it's not going to budge. So just try it out. I think it's more just like doing it and then kind of getting a feel for how those bobby pins are landing, that you'll be like, oh, yeah, this totally works. Okay, what do you do if there's a lot of frizz when you're all finished? Wet hairspray, but what I would highly recommend is that as you're working the hair, be sure that you're cleaning at every phase. So if you're just putting up just those rubber bands first when you're mapping out your section, make sure that that section is nice and smooth before you move on. You can't change or fix frizz if it's 5 layers down or 5 steps down in your bridal updo. So create as you're going. That's the best way. I'm sorry, smooth and clean as you're going. And then overall, the overall aesthetic is going to be cleaner. But I highly recommend wet hairspray, a fork comb, and smoothing cream to combat frizz. Okay, so let's see what else we have here. Oh, I did that one, sorry. Definitely love the different perspectives. I usually have more brunette clients, yeah, more Hispanic area. So with that being said, the types of products are going to be important as well, because the texture of the hair might be different. So just pay attention to that. And, you know, it is true that medium to coarser hair is easier to work with. It's more pliable, it's more malleable. And so you shouldn't run into too many problems. The thing is that you just don't want to weigh the hair down by putting on too many products that are going to combat frizz. But at the same time, you want to control the hair. So that's just something to think about. Okay, that was Hopefully my mic is still on. Moving. Oh yeah, the sea salt spray that I was using when I was working on my brunette is the KMS sea salt spray. I really, really like it. I've used a lot of sea salt sprays. And this one in particular is really good. You don't need to use a ton of it, so keep that in mind. Okay, let me see what else I have up here. A few bobby pins tend to slip. Is there a secret keeping it to the scalp? Bobby pin talk. You're speaking my language. Okay, let's talk really quickly about bobby pins. I am such a bobby pin freak. Okay, I love bobby pins, and there's specific ones that I like. So bobby pins are not all created equally. And so a bobby pin, when you open it up, well, look at that one so sometimes they twist like this. Hopefully you can see that. They twist, right? They don't stay together. It just like crossed over and made like an X. See that? Okay, so if that's the case, I trash those ones. I'm like, I'm not using them. The ones that I like, they bounce back on my finger. They hurt, okay? They're really, really tight. And when you look at the bobby pin like this, there's no gaps. Okay, there's like the gaps of the ridges, but each of the ridges in the valleys, you see that when it hits a valley, it's closed together. That's really, really important. So the type of bobby pins that I really like are Strictly Professional, Salon Care, Strictly Professional or Salon Care. I get them both at Cosmoprof. Highly recommend. Another thing in terms of slipping bobby pins, if you flip your bobby pin over and you actually insert it in with the ridge side down, that will help. And then my last note in terms of bobby pins is that sometimes when I hook a bobby pin in, come here, Leslie. Hopefully you can see this, love. When I hook a bobby pin in, if for some reason I feel like it's going to slip, then I take my aerosol spray and I spray right on the tip of that and make sure, and it's wet, like I can see that it's wet. You might not be able to see that's wet, but it's wet. And that's going to help kind of give it a little bit of extra hold so that it doesn't slide. The most important thing is just making sure that when you're actually placing that bobby pin, that your hand is on the other side, so that when you're putting that bobby pin in, you're putting it in a specific place. It's not just thrown in there hoping that it lands and stays in place. It's there and it's on purpose. If you can cross your bobby pins over, then that's amazing. But sometimes you're not able to cross your bobby pins over. So if you are inserting something in at the top here, then it's really crucial to, before you insert that bobby pin in, kind of look with your fingers, stick your fingers into the updo, stick them in, and see if for any reason you can find another bobby pin, and then you can hook the bobby pin on that. And that's great. What do you do if there's a lot of, I asked that, how to ensure, okay, cool. What to do if I accidentally take, what to do if I accidentally take too much hair back or not enough. If you take too much hair back, unfortunately, you might have to take some hair out if that's what they want. If you don't pull enough hair back, then you can use that trick like I did with the topsy
turning. Yeah, that was really cool how you don't pull all of it back. I like how you're sectioning it out more, how you map it out. That's giving me a little more of a guideline to do that.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're good in that area?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, of course. Always just try to weave the hair in. The last little bit I was going to tell you is just that if you leave too much hair out and it's out down or up here, it's important to just make sure that when you're pulling this hair back, that you're not pulling it back and creating an extra line. So see how that doesn't connect? You want this to pull back and be intentional about when you pull it back, make sure that it's following the same line of texture that you've already created. So if that's the case, then it needs to insert into that updo at this point, and then you need to wrap this around and hide it. But if you pull it in and you pull it in down here, unless they're looking for an extra line of texture, you've just created a complete disconnect in your overall style. So just something to think about and trying to work with as you're taking a step back and looking at it is really important as well. What hairspray am I using? I know that was answered. Surface Impulse wet hairspray is the one that I just really, really love it. It's workable. It dries really quickly. Okay, I'm going to go down to the bottom again because I think there was some new questions. Somebody said I need a topsy tail in my life. I think I just heard the first part of that. Amazon, they're awesome. And I don't ever use my big one. So it's funny that I used it today because I always use my little one. But it was interesting that I had to pull it out today to actually like make it through the entire updo. So you never know what you're going to need. I've started using more elastics to help secure. Perfect. Okay. And I think that might be all of the questions that I've covered right now. Unless somebody wants to chime in, you're more than welcome to unmute yourself. And if you want to talk, it's 11:46. So I just want to be conscientious of your time. I know it's super valuable. But I also just really appreciate you being here and hanging out with me. And I think that there's something to be said about somebody who will take the time to learn new techniques and invest in yourself. And I just hope to connect with you more on Instagram, also inside my app. And then don't forget $99 if you're interested in the bridal bundle. It's only 99 bucks, which is absolutely amazing. So enjoy that as a gift from me to you. And I'll see you on the next one. We're looking to have these once a month. So I hope to see you in class next month. Okay. I think we're good.
Bye. Thank you so much. I love doing this with you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else? We're good? Okay, darlings. Happy bridal styling, and I will see you soon.